this last time. So, all right. Welcome, everybody. My name is Pat Stavola. I'm with the Connecticut Family Support Network. And we're trying to do our support group meetings via Zoom. So this is the result. That you welcome everyone to our employment forum. We have some wonderful employment providers who are going to talk about their programs for about 10 minutes. And we're going to, then we'll ask questions, and you can ask questions via the chat, or you can raise your hand in Zoom, which if you go next to your name, you should see a little thing that says raise hand. And then we'll be watching for that, but we are looking at multiple screens because we have 37 people on this call right now. So if I don't see your raised hand, you might want to wave at me. But we are going to have all the presenters do their presentation first, and then we will take questions afterwards. So I hope that works out for everyone. The first person I'm going to introduce is Emily. Emily, you want to say hi?
Hi, I'm a graduate student of social work at Sacred Heart, and one of my homework assignments is to observe a group. And so I'm here observing, but I'm not going to be writing down like any personal information about you guys. It's really more about like what sorts of things are like available for this like community, and like how is this supposed to be like facilitated and everything. So I'll just be observing.
This is being recorded. If you don't want to have your face on the recording, you can just turn off your video. But I'm hoping to keep everybody in the small little squares on this Zoom call. So we're going to get started. And our first presenter is Ian Card from BRS, and he's going to talk about the BRS services for employment assistance. Ian?
Thanks, Pat. Hi, my name is Ian Card. I'm a level up counselor with the Bureau of Rehabilitation Services. I have been with BRS for 6.5 years now, and with the level up program for just over 3 years. So BRS does have two separate programs. We have our level up program, which is what I currently do, and we have our adult program, which is what I did when I first got hired. So I'm going to talk about the level up program first, then go into the adult program, and then I'll share some contact information on your screen. So the level up program is a program designed for high school age students, 16 to 22, as long as they're still connected with either their high school or our transition program, and are receiving services under an IEP or 504 plan. The goal of this program is to help students explore career interest with a bit more depth than what they would typically get. Growing up, a lot of us, probably learned about jobs we want to do by seeing people who do, who did interesting jobs, or by watching TV. Those don't always give you a full picture of what jobs are out there or what those jobs entail. So what we do is we work with students either one-on-one or in a group to help explore what their career interests are. We start off online with just researching more about what those jobs are, what is the anticipated market growth or decline in those industries, and what tools, what tasks they're going to need to know, what knowledge, what education level they're going to need. And it does also look into how much you can make. For some students, that's more important than others. But it's always kind of fun to see some of their reactions when they realize the amount of money potentially they could earn in this field. From there, we tend to connect students with people who are in those areas of their interest. Lisa, that's a great question. I'll answer that in a moment. We try to connect students with people who work in those settings to do an informational interview where students get to ask those questions to someone who's working in that setting to learn more about the job from them. We can do this virtually, which is great. Our next step typically is a job shadow. With COVID, that's been a little bit more challenging just because everyone's trying to limit the number of people in a building. So we're still working on trying to figure out a way to make that virtual. Other services we offer through Level Up are self-advocacy, resume writing, interview prep, workplace readiness. We do talk about assistive technology as well, just to help give students more resources and more knowledge base for them to go out in the community, whether it's, you know, in a school or post-secondary or in employment, just so they have more information so they can be more successful. One of our other services that we offer is a work-based experience. We have it year-round. We do it during the school year. We also do it during the summertime. Those are running even now with COVID, and we had about 200 students statewide participate over the summer. During that time, students work for a certain period of time, and that amount of time really depends on what our funding level is at. So the number of hours a student can work will vary. But when students are working, it's an entry-level job, but they get paid at minimum wage. We provide some amount of on-site supports for them, depending on what their needs are. And unfortunately, we can't provide transportation, so we try to make sure those jobs are accessible to the student through either public transportation, family, or other means. And then also we have our adult program. So this is great for students who are already connected with the Level Up program who want to continue to receive services. We can easily transition them from Level Up into our adult program. For those who have not been connected with our Level Up program, you can still reach out to the adult BRS office and apply for services. And I'll provide that the contact information in the end here. With our adult program, it is a bit more, let's see, what's the word I'm trying to look for. It's an eligibility-based program, so they require more documentation than what we do for the Level Up program. So basically what they're trying to identify and prove is that the individual being served has a disability that's going to get in the way of employment. Once we go through that, they start talking with the person they're working with about what their career interests are and try to figure out how to make that happen for them. Sometimes those career goals are perfectly aligned with what someone's abilities are, and sometimes they're not. But it's kind of about figuring out what that looks like. There's a number of services available to help with that. There's stuff services regarding prosthetics, more intensive services regarding assistive technology, where unlike in Level Up, where we're just sort of exploring what's out there, in the adult program, they can provide those services and those devices to people. There's hearing aid services, there's on-the-job trainings, there's internship programs, and they can help with, in some instances, they can help with education and getting certificates and things of that nature to help someone be successful. Again, once they put someone on a job site, they can provide supports to someone to make sure that the individual is successful on that job. And the goal of the adult program is to help get someone hired. Right? The Level Up program, the goal is to help gain exposure and experience and information. The adult programs, the goal is to get them hired somewhere, ideally in a career setting. Most of the adult services and most of the Level Up services have been able to transition to virtual during COVID, which is great. Some of the ones where you're working on a job site, that's going to be in person though. So I'm going to share my contact information. So on the top is a link and a phone number for the Level Up program. If you don't know who your school contact liaison is, all right, the number is just sort of a general a general agency number to help identify what region you're in so we can connect you with the appropriate level up counselor. There are 11 of us statewide. And underneath is the adult BRS services. We have a number of offices statewide so they can connect you with which one is most appropriate or easiest to access for you. And I just want to quickly answer Lisa's question, and we're going to do questions at the end. So BRS is the name of our agency. The overarching umbrella department used to be the Department of Rehabilitation Services. As of October 1st, 2019, it switched to Aging and Disability Services. So we are still BRS, we're just under a different umbrella name. That's all I have for now.
Great. Thank you, Ian. Sorry, I was trying to unmute myself. Hold on a minute, Bridget. I'll get to you in a second. Thank you, Ian. That was very informative. Bridget, you had a question?
Could you hear me? Could you hear me?
Now I can.
Okay, now you can. Okay, first of all, so your location is in Hartford, right?
Our central office is in Hartford, yes.
Okay, so you have locations all over?
Yes, so we have offices in, let's see, Stamford, Bridgeport, Danbury, Waterbury, Torrington, New Haven, Middletown,
Uncasville.
New Britain, let's see, Windsor.
Well, I'll be sharing
There's a number of
the
them.
link to the website and the link to this if you want to send this to me, Ian, what you just shared. I'll share that on the follow-up tomorrow or Friday. That'll come out and you'll get the link.
All right, so then, so the hours would be for the typically what, 9 to 2 for the kids?
So for the work experiences, we can kind of be flexible with that.
Okay.
It really depends on what families are available to. When it's during the school year, I know that can be a bit more complicated, especially if they're taking core academic courses. Right, we don't want to detract from their ability to succeed academically in a school setting. So we tried our best to be flexible with that. I'd say probably between 9 and 5 or 9 and 6 is when we would have a student work, and they would only work for like typically 3 to 5 hour shifts. So they wouldn't be working during that entire span.
All right, so now, and you're saying transportation would not be provided, not even through the Board of Ed?
That's between you and the school district. I can't speak to that.
Oh, I see. All right, and so, so how do you schedule like a tour or see more pictures or anything like that? I know I looked at the website, but I didn't see many pictures to view, the buildings and.
I'm not sure I understand your question.
Bridget, I think because it's really a government service, it's individualized to each person. So what you'll do is you'd meet with a BRS counselor and they will develop a plan for each individual person, right, Ian?
Yes. Yeah, everything is as individualized as we can make it. When it comes to like the students, we want to just get our main priority is to get them a work experience that they can add to their resume and get that that first job,
Right.
those jitters or whatever you want to call them out of the way. When it comes to our adult program, it's 100% individualized.
Yeah. And so with peers, they don't have real socialization events or activities like that type of thing, or just focus totally on work. And then that's my last question. Sorry.
Yeah, BRS is really just focused on the work component of it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Bridget. All right. Thank you, Anne. If anyone else has any questions, you can type them into the chat or raise your hand. Kia, you had your hand up. Did you have a question?
No, I was giving Ian a thumbs up.
Okay. So, all
Thanks,
right.
Kia.
So next we are going to have Chapel Haven. And from Chapel Haven, we have Danielle. I'm sorry, Danielle, how do you say your last name?
Hi, I'm Danielle Chiaraluce.
Charlize, all right. And she is going to talk about Chapel Haven. So go ahead, Danielle.
All right, thank you, everyone. Again, my name is Danielle Chiaraluce, and I'm the Executive Director of Careerability at Chapel Haven. I know that you are probably aware that Chapel Haven offers a wide variety of programs for adults 18 and older. We have 3 core residential programs: REACH, the Asperger Syndrome Adult Transition Program, and at Chapel Haven West, we also have programs related to ASAT as well. We offer day programming, weekend recreation, social communication therapy, structured day programs, and a host of other options for graduates and those outside of the Chapel Haven community as well, seeking services. But today is about employment, and so that's why I'm here. So we're going to talk a little bit about Careerability. Careerability was founded to meet a vital element of Chapel Haven's mission, which is meaningful employment for its clients. Chapel Haven's mission is in and of itself to provide lifelong individualized services for people with developmental and social disabilities. And we hope to empower them to live independent and self-determined lives. And as we know, work is very instrumental and important to have that happen. So what is meaningful work? Meaningful work is the degree to which people find their work to have significance and purpose, and the contribution that makes to find a broader meaning in life. Certainly, it encompasses the desire and means for one's work to make a positive contribution for the greater good. And there are a lot of different definitions about meaningful employment, but that's ours. The placements that we hope to find for people include one that is predicated upon an individual's abilities and interests. We want our placements to contribute to an individual's quality of life. We want our employment opportunities to allow each individual to earn a competitive wage. And to do this, we have placement strategies that offer individuals the opportunity and choice as they enter the adult world of employment. Certainly, you've heard of the Association of People Supporting Employment First and the Employment First mission itself, and we hope to uphold those expectations. So Careerability has 2 key areas. I'm sorry, the pictures keep getting in the way. All right. So in Careerability, you sort of have 2 different divisions. We have one side that is vocational opportunities, which includes our work-based learning programs. We have a program called PAVE, or Partnership for Achieving Vocational Experience. That is a program that is a 9-month program, and it takes place at 2 partner sites that we have. In addition to that experience, we also have individual customized work-based learning, which includes volunteering or internships. In vocational opportunities, individuals will begin the process of discovery or career exploration. They may engage in career pathway training. We have partnerships at different community providers, but we also offer some of our own. And right now that includes retail sales training, Central Sterile Supply, and a cafe culinary arts work-based learning program. We offer special education to those individuals in post-secondary support who might need a little additional support while they engage in classes. And we have pre-vocational instruction. On our employment services side, we have a career assessment and advisement that takes place through our career development advisor. We do volunteering as long as it's career related, because as we know, some individuals volunteer as their career. Facilitated discovery continues in employment services, and it leads all the way up to job placement and our support helping to do a job negotiation for customized employment opportunities where that's essential. We provide on-the-job training support and internships on and off-site employment support, job coaching, or career transition services. And we offer workplace forums and instruction. So how it all began. Historically, we all know that traditional employment models for those with developmental and social disabilities doesn't necessarily focus on meaningful employment. Typically, the population was considered served when they were placed in jobs that weren't truly competitive, or they weren't sought after by neurotypical peers. Typically, they may not have even taken place in normalized environments. And so, of course, this would result in poor retention. And under current ADA guidelines, many of the historic national vocational placements don't even qualify as what we are all working on here as meaningful employment. So we know why we needed this type of program at Chapel Haven and all of us who are doing this type of work. And our donors recognize the need for a new approach at Chapel Haven so that we would allow our individuals to gain greater success. We wanted to effectively address the need for meaningful employment. And we wanted to build upon Chapel Haven's success in helping individuals acclimate to the community and becoming more independent in their residential and community-based settings. So in terms of employment, Careerability was created. And our mission is to create a nationally recognized model that will result in a process to procure meaningful employment for individuals with developmental disabilities. We received a fairly large grant to allow us to spearhead this division, and that support was garnered by individuals on an advisory board, such as Dr. Volkmar, Dr. Ruth Aaron, and a variety of others who contributed to the structure and ideas and vision for the program. We predicated everything that we did in the beginning on research and evidence, and we wanted to create an intentional process to create a systemic model that combined unique features and best practices in the field. Again, it's always been on the long-term goal of providing choice and opportunity for individuals. Our philosophy centers on individuals' strengths and preferences, and that's the essential point that I hope you take away today. It's individualized. We provide customized assessments and support. We base every decision on an individual's strength, challenge, interest, and motivation. We continually refine and identify a provision of opportunities that will assure continuous growth as an individual tries to achieve their full potential in a vocation of their choice. We complete a scope of assessment and training and placement, and we provide on and off support to participants and to employers. And we are guided and adapted by measuring each outcome. So if we look at our current averages, this is hard with these. Okay, so initially the individuals receiving job skill development, the metric that defines that are individuals who are involved in career exploring or job training programs or volunteer opportunities. And the national average is very bleak, right? Across the board, it's 44% of the DD and ASD populations are involved in these types of job skill development programs. And we're very new at Careerability. We've only just started. But last year, 84% of our adults were involved in job skill development. That included 56 individuals who were engaged in 83 job skill development experiences. Some received more than one opportunity. In terms of competitive employment, which is defined as an integrated setting at full or part-time work or minimum wage or higher, and working with coworkers without disabilities, across the board nationally, that average is only 18% to 19.2% for our population. At Chapel Haven last year alone, we essentially placed 89% of our population. This included placing 25 adults into competitive employment. That was out of 28 who were eligible for that opportunity at the time. And our success has shown thus far that 100% of the clients placed by our department have resulted in retention, which far exceeds the national average of 62%. The way that we go about this, so you can know a little bit more how we do it, we provide a unique state-of-the-art hybrid diagnostic process that incorporates clinical and vocational elements We measure aptitude and suitability and client vocational preferences and understand their limitations and considerations. This comprehensive diagnostic process allows us to create an individualized career pathway for each individual in our program. And this assessment continues all the way through their employment plan. Opportunities for career exploration or discovery. We are very, we do a lot of work at the beginning to try to get individuals to be involved in their own choices and discovery process. This is very important as, related to aptitude, suitability, preferences, and limitation. This helps them create their choice to how we're going to do job skill development and then eventually lead to enhanced employment placement services. So by preparing clients with these key skill elements, we have been able to see some successes. So showing you a little visual, these steps represent a typical, and it's often the optimal progression towards competitive employment, but anyone can enter any phase or any stage at any time. So discovery is typically what takes place in vocational opportunities. This is where we're starting to learn about our decision making, and they're doing career-focused explorations, and assessments begin to start. It usually starts with volunteering. Some individuals after that point will choose to engage in career pathway training. Maybe it's culinary or retail sales. Maybe it might be work-based learning, where they go to our partnership for achieving vocational experience or PAVE program. Some individuals prefer to go from discovery right to facilitated discovery. And the difference would be that this is where they engage in multiple individualized facilitated discovery opportunities, including internships. This is based upon the client's choice. It's relative to their job of choice. And that's all that we ask, is that anyone in our program has the ultimate goal of work. Employment placements are offered across a broad range of sectors. And it's unusual, we feel, because we fit the job to the client and not the client to the job. So each individual placement is created by our team. We identify it and work with the client together to assure that their preferences and needs are being upheld. We comprehensively assess and receive ongoing advisement to optimize their career choices. They have a career development advisor assigned to them, as well as a team. Each staff who's in the department has multiple areas of expertise, and we call this working as a transdisciplinary team. And this provides the optimal support to each client. We provide job-specific skills or tutorials, and they're devised to enhance a client's on-the-job performance and development. And we tweak them on an ongoing basis, as this will help with retention. And we recognize the importance of soft skills in the hidden workplace curriculum. And this transdisciplinary team and our coaches or career transition specialists, they're constantly refining during the early and transition days of employment. And to further improve our outcomes, we capture our ongoing quantitative and qualitative data. We build off of the programs.
Sorry,
that,
Danielle. Are you just about ready to wrap
yes,
up? Sorry.
I'll wrap up.
Thought you finished.
We build off of the programs that are offered at Chapel Haven, such as REACH and ASAP. These are some of the places where we work. Here are some of the additional places where we work as well. And, I could wrap up at this point, but we have a variety of case studies that include that we're trying to offer a filter, not failure method. And I'll send this to you so you all can read it later.
Yeah, you're welcome to send anything to me and I'll send it out with the follow-up.
And so just in summary, if you would like to learn a little bit more about us, you can contact me at Chapel Haven.
Was one question, it was, do you place most of your clients in the New Haven area?
Yes, we pretty much support individuals from the greater New Haven County. And yes, we do provide employment in that area primarily.
And I'll tell you, my son is a resident at Chapel Haven right now. He's in the PAVE program, which is an excellent program. Unfortunately, due to COVID, they can't go out to their work sites. He was so looking forward to going to Whalen Engineering. But hopefully that will open up after in the new year.
Yes, that's what we're hoping. COVID certainly has impacted all of us.
Yeah, and COVID has impacted everyone because work sites were closed and everything has to be done virtually. So it's everyone. Thank you very much, Danielle. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And if anyone has any questions, you can send them through chat. But I think we're going to take most of our questions at the end, if that's okay. If anyone has any questions that we're not answering and you have a specific question for someone, you can send it to me. We're with the registration, and I will be happy to get that question to the specific person if it's a specific question. Our next person is William Robinson from the Lighthouse. And it's Will, not Kelsey.
Yeah, that is right. I'm Will Robinson, not Kelsey. Kelsey Brown's our program coordinator here. But thank you again for having me very much. I definitely appreciate it. And I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about Lighthouse Works. So what Lighthouse Works is it's a transitional vocational program for folks that are on the cusp of competitive employment. So that really ranges from 18 to whenever you want to start working, whenever you want to stop working. So it's pretty broad. But we have a comprehensive program, and I'd like to tell you guys a little bit about it. So I'm going to screen or share right now to our program material. All right, if you're ready, you guys can see that. All right. So this is Lighthouse Works. So we provide vocational experiences in the community, and we try to identify vocational interest and readiness. And it's a 3-year program. So each year you're developing those skills, you're developing your interests, and at the end, we expect for you to attain competitive employment. So that's the goal, is equal work for equal pay. It sounds pretty simple, but it's the truth. Everybody wants to be working. Everybody wants to be making the same amount of money as the person next to them. And that's our goal. And we've been pretty successful with that. So this is what sort of makes our programs different than some. So we have micro businesses. I'm going to share with you guys a little walkthrough of our micro businesses after this. But our micro businesses, we're training folks in these micro businesses to be able to get these skills, to be able to transfer them into the community. So we work with an Airbnb where it's on our site. We're able to work with Airbnb to understand all of the different aspects that go into that, whether it's taking reception work or doing room cleaning and all those things. And we also have a greenhouse that I'll share with you guys in a little bit. So we've had a lot of a transition experience, and right now we're really getting into that a little bit more. So we have 3 tracks, and in these tracks, you will identify what you like, what you're good at, and the second tier of that track for the next year is to really hone in on these specific areas of trade. And then by the 3rd year, you're really going to be getting into that, and we're ready to be able to get you a job. So throughout the year, you're interning at a whole bunch of different places. So some of the overview of the places for our farm to table track is agriculture. So we work with places like the Coogan Farm, which donates like 5,000 pounds of food to the United Way a year. We've been with them since their groundbreaking pretty much. And then we also work with in the culinary industry. So a lot of places that we continue to work with are Flanders Fish House in our area. So that's a restaurant. So we've been partnering up with them. And also we have industry professional. His name is TJ Deladon. And he's from Johnson & Wales. He's an executive chef there. And he's able to come through. Right now we're doing it through Zoom, but he's able to do some culinary instruction. So by the 3rd year, we expect you to have a ServSafe certification, which makes you more valuable when you go out into the workforce. We also do food services. So we work with different grocery stores, learning how to prioritize different things to be able to set up. And so that's a really nice aspect of that too. We also have our trades track where we do maintenance and repair. We work with landscaping and custodial. Some of that does happen at our host site, but a lot of that also happens out in the community. So we'd like to, like I said, train at our host site, and then go out and be able to work and be able to get those skills. And then at that point, once 3 years is up, then we would expect you to be competitively employed. There's also a fast track, which is important. Some people may be ready before another person. So in that fast track, we identify that through our comprehensive initial intakes, and then we continue those. And if we find that you're ready, then as a team, we'll find you that competitive employment, and hopefully at the same place you've been interning. So we also have a culture and tourism track, which evolves around the arts and entertainment. We were working with the Guard Arts Theater until they were had to shut down due to COVID. But we also work with hospitality. So we work with other hospitality chains around the area, which has been a really nice fit, because you're not only learning how to turn over rooms, but you're able to learn how to use the front end. You're able to work with the pool. So you get sort of a big gamut of things that we do there. And then retail, we work with different retail stores. We work with CVS. But this is the most important thing, I believe, for the program. It's a schedule. We have the schedule, so we have our morning meetups, we have our kickoffs to be able to find out what we're going to be doing for the day. We have our on-the-site training, which is our coaches train, yes, but also the people that we collaborate with are our trainers. Because how are we supposed to know what the job is without somebody telling us and somebody walking through that with us? We have a working lunch, which I feel is very important, because you need to know the etiquette when you're on site to be able to navigate that through lunch. Independent study is also a really valuable piece of the program, because our coaches are able to give you feedback at that time. And then also, if you have another passion that doesn't relate to your IP goals, we take the time to work you through that. We have one participant who wants to go to a steam room. Well, it's pretty hard to go to a steam room right now, but we're working through that. We're trying to help them navigate that. Hey, who do you call? These types of things, to be able to help them work through it. It's a goal. It's not an IP goal, but it's something he wants to do. So we're really trying to look at the entire person instead of that they just want to get a job. Life skills workshops do the same thing. Not only are we a vocational program, but we're an independent living program, because how are you supposed to work if you don't have those independent living skills? I mean, you have a job, then what are you going to do with the money? How are you going to spend that money? How are you going to allocate it? So we work with those during our life skills workshops. And then we also have our optional meetups in the afternoons. So that's, you might go to the mall and work on those social skills that way. It's just basically building upon what you've learned during the day. So again, it's 18 to 25, but we'll go a lot further than that, depending on if somebody wants to get a job or not. So those are the really important things. And like I said, the first year, you're doing the fundamental vocational skills training. You're gaining an understanding of different industries. You're getting to know what you want to do. And in year 2, you're going to select a vocational track that you want to specialize in. You're going to increase your ability to be able to do these tasks. And that's all in the same track. And then the third year, we'd like you to be able to get that job. So we're going to work on your resume building. We're going to practice your interview skills. We're going to work with a job developer more frequently. So these are all really positive areas that, we try to stress. So I'm going to share with you guys one video at our training site, and then I will be done and would love to take questions at the end. So let me share you one more screen. And I'm a bad actor, so just give you guys a heads up. Hi, this is Will Robinson, and we are at the Lighthouse Homestead and Stables. This is our training facility, and at the training facility, we're going to be working with our Airbnb micro-business, as well as our farm-to-table track, where we'll be growing food at our greenhouse location, and then being able to prepare it with our industry professional chef, TJ Deladon. And right here, we are at our location for the greenhouse. So we've staked out the property over here for where we're going to put up the greenhouse. And it's going to be a commercial greenhouse. So the idea is that we're going to be growing microgreens, and our job seekers are going to be able to package them and be able to sell them. So I'm very excited for the project. We are at our Cowboy Kitchen, where our job seekers are able to prepare food outside and serve at some of the events that we're going to be holding here. We have industry professionals that are going to be coming out helping us with catering and also doing some cooking. Hi, so you guys can see the garden here that we tend to at the Lighthouse Works program. We have a lot of maintenance to do as well, part of our trades track. And then we also do a lot of the janitorial pieces, and we take care of the property here. So the skills that people learn here We intend to have them practice those skills at our community partners. Hey, we're here in our garage. We have a lot of different power tools that we're going to be using to be able to take care of our property here. And then also use tools at different property groups and different landscape companies. Hi, we're at room 1 of our 3 Airbnb rooms. Come on in. So at Airbnb, we practice our hospitality skills by learning to make beds, vacuum, clean restrooms, and these skills are easily applied to our different community partners who do the hospitality. One of the most important things that our job seekers need to do before they go to a community placement is learn COVID policies and procedures. So when we're at the homestead, that's what we'll be doing before we go out. Well, thank you guys very much.
Thank you very much, Will. That was great. Does anyone have any questions for Will? He has a couple extra minutes here, so you want to send it through a chat? No, I think we're all set. Will, I think you've got some music coming through on your phone, I think, on your computer.
Hold on. That doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
That might not be. No, it is.
Yeah, it's you. I muted you and it went off. So
Yeah, let me mute my.
okay, I'm just checking to see if anyone has their hand up. I don't see anyone, so I think we're going to go ahead and move on to our next presentation. Will, thank you. That was very informative. And I think you sent me a link to that video, so I'll send that out. I think I have a link to that video. If not, you can send it to me. Our next presenter is MARC Inc. in Manchester, Connecticut. We have Annie Lopez and Delcy Eisenberg. Did I get those names right, I hope?
Yes, you did.
Oh, good.
Anyway, I'm Delcy Eisenberg. It's nice to be on this group tonight. I'm going to share some of the services that we provide at MARC. Our biggest service is employment services, is basically what we want to talk about tonight, but we also do recreational, retirement, we do respite, advocate, and day services. So those are some of the services, but basically what we do is our biggest department is employment, and Annie's going to help me with some of the questions, and she's going to step in when she feels that there's something that she wants to add. So currently we do GSE, and we have anywhere between at any given time 115 to 120 people that are employed in the community. We also have an ISE, or ESI as they call it now, which is about 27 people, I believe, that we support independent employment. And we are currently at Goodwin College here in East Hartford doing a project search for our second year. So we had a very successful year of project search last year, and we were welcomed back by Goodwin this year. And due to the COVID, we were supposed to start in September at Hartford Hospital as in project search, and that kind of got dismissed and put off until next year. So we will be starting that with Hartford Hospital in 2021.
In addition to Goodwin University.
In addition to Goodwin, yes. So we jump through a lot of hoops every day to make sure that we are keeping our people working, and we can fill all aspects of the 3 different employment sectors that we have. Annie, did you want to add anything about project search? I'm not quite sure if everybody's familiar what project search is. Project search is a program that's all over the United States, and there's several other countries that also have it. But it starts at a host site where people, we have We had 7 people last year. This year we have 5 individuals that do vocational and on the job training in different departments within the host site. And it's usually anywhere between 10 and 15 different areas that people get to rotate in and out of in a 10-week rotation. And it gives the individuals an opportunity to share skills, learn skills, have mentors, learn proper workplace etiquette, how to dress, how to be to work on time, how to punch in, how to punch out, how to, work with other individuals, and just have like a job coach work with them minimally to achieve the skills that they need in the skill building. It's actually a certificate program. When we had our graduation last year, we had to do it virtually. Everybody got a certificate, and they carry that certificate with them. One of the great things about Project Search is once they're with MARC, our MARC, they're with us forever. I mean, we will keep you and help you no matter what, until you don't need the help, until you're independent enough that you don't need us. But we will stay with you and be by your side and support you through all your employment woes until you achieve them independently and don't need us. And we love that about Project Search because it's a support program. And in the Project Search, we also have a vocational. So there's a vocational piece that they have in between the 10-week trainings. There's a week or 2 that they do vocational work, which is, math, how to problem solve with your coworkers, finances. We've had CPR teachers go in and teach CPR and, social skills. It's a great program. So that's new to MARC. That was new to MARC last year. And up until then, Annie, you might want to talk about the ISE and the employment sites.
Yes, we have about, like Delcy said, we have about between 27 and 30 individuals that are competitively employed independently in the community. And they do have a job coach that follows them. They're not with them on site. They're that independent. But the job coach do weekly visits just to make sure if there's any additional training or any other skills that they need to learn within the site, that the job coach is always there for them. And like Delcy said, in our GSC, we have a huge GSC program. And through this pandemic, we really had our ups and downs, but I am very, very excited to say that with the exception of one location, all of our employers have welcomed our individuals back to work. So they're back to work, and we have a good relationship with the community. So that's really welcoming. The individuals that we support are great. They love being out in the community, and even through the changes of COVID, everyone is looking forward and has been looking forward to returning to work. So every phone call we got from an employer saying, okay, the guys can start, was very exciting. So I don't know if anybody has any questions regarding any of our programs, our employment programs, but we're here to answer them. So let us know.
Great. Thank you, Annie. Thank you, Delcy. We got plenty of time. If someone has some questions, you can send it through a chat or you can raise your hand.
These are just some of the employment things that we do. We do maintenance, we do vending. We have our own vending business. Right now it's called Vending for Change. We started years ago with our vending services and we just expanded them. We actually just put 5 new machines over at the Buckland Mall here in Manchester. We're expanding that to get, our vending employees out working and, having jobs that can provide minimum wage. It's a great program right now. We are providing training as we speak, and we're hoping that that's going to be a great success for us. And this is just
some
a
of the
few
employers who employ our individuals.
Yep.
Wonderful to hear that some of your sites have opened up, though, or most of your sites have opened up. That's great.
Yes. Yes.
It's very exciting.
So, and this is our project search. This is, you know,
One of our individuals at Project Search.
Oh,
That's
I know
one of my
him.
friends.
you know him, David?
That's that David is my son's best friend, one of his best
Oh,
friends.
isn't
Oh,
that
there you
awesome?
go. Yeah.
Small
They
world.
went to all through school together.
Oh, that's
That's
awesome.
wonderful.
I didn't realize he was at MARC, so.
Yes.
he is.
Yeah, oh, he's great.
He's a
He's
sweetie.
great. And you know,
That's
this
our
is
mission.
and this is our mission. But yeah, we currently have a waiting list right now for, you know, probably about 20 people waiting to get in. And it's been difficult during the COVID time because people aren't hiring right now. We're having a hard time finding employers. But you know, we plug along at it every day, and you know, we take any tip that we can and we try to make a miracle out of it. So
Yeah, we
thank
actually
you.
have David's teacher on here too.
Yes, Paula Reese.
I see Paula. Hi, Paula. I know Paula. So, but thank you very much, Pat, for, you know, asking us
Inviting
to
us,
join you.
definitely.
We appreciate it. We kind of put this together last minute because we weren't quite sure we were going to present today, but thank you very much, you know, for thinking of us.
Yes, thank you so much. And now I have your contact. I'll get the right people the next time. I think I just sent it to a general email before the invitation. So if you're on the phone, you can press, I think it's *9 to raise your hand, or you can just unmute yourself now and ask a question if you have one. I know we said we're going to take questions later, but we have a couple minutes. Okay.
Yes, thank you, Paula, very
Thank you,
much.
Paula.
I see in the chat, you think
Yes.
Project Search is a great program. It actually is. We love it. We love it.
And we have
And
another
thank you.
project.
You've been a MARC supporter for many years, and thank you for that.
We have another project search person coming up for a different project search, but that's our last one. So I think, no, next one after this. Our next person who's going to speak, or our next group, is Marrakech Inc. And we have Patrick Sean and Lisa Jardin.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lisa
Hello.
Jardin. I'm the Vice President of Person-Centered Services at Marrakech. I am going to do a screen share with you to show you our website. Let's see if I can make this happen. There, I think you're all seeing that now. We are a nonprofit agency. We've been around we're coming on our 50th year that we're celebrating. We work with all populations of people doing all services. We do residential, vocational, life skills, social, recreational, respite. You know, you name it, we have a hand in it. We always are looking to do more and work more with people. We do vocational, transitional services as well, and help people focus in on early planning. We work very closely with the Charting the Life course and being very person-centered and helping individuals to really plan out the life that they want. We serve over, 1,200 people a year, and we have close to 700 employees now. And even through COVID, we've continued to keep things going. And to the parents that are listening, I want to say you're going to get inundated with a bunch of bowel soups, IEPs and DSOs and all these different shortcuts that we use. So it's going to be important that you sort of learn those. Like a DSO is day services option only through the Department of Developmental Services. We do have those programs. They're set up for people who really aren't capable of working or really don't want to work, but they need to have a structured and fulfilled day. So we do things like life skills training, social trips and recreational trips, arts and crafts, music appreciation, work with people volunteering within the communities. We do a lot of Meals on Wheels runs and things of that nature. And we're located throughout the whole state. So we do, for kids that are graduating out of school services and need a day program, we do offer those. We have New Milford, Waterbury, West Haven and New Haven, where we work. We do offer transportation, but it depends on where you're coming from and what program you're actually going to be in. We have to work that in, but we are an agency that will still provide transportation. So they have day program, maybe from 8:30 to 2. We pick them up and then we bring them home. So we have those locations, and we encourage families to visit, come see them, explore them before they're in their final year. With our transition services, we really work with the families in helping them plan out what comes after school. A lot of families find that once the school system has ended, where you basically get everything you need, you come into the adult world and there's no guarantees for any services. So part of what we do is help you connect with what's local in the community that you can use, what other options are there under maybe a Medicare or insurance. We also look at private pay services. On our website, when you come to what we do, you can see right off the bat, we offer behavioral support. So we have teams of behaviorists that work with us that will work independently with individuals. We do overall case management of making sure people are connected to entitlements and getting everything that they need. We have community and recreational programs. We have a huge quality of life calendar that we do for folks in-house and with the community in general. We do every year, Patrick spearheads our big Thanksgiving community dinner. We also have a theater club where we put on musicals. People love to be involved in that. We do an annual prom every year. We also have like a Marrakech Got Talent. It's a talent show that we do, like America's Got Talent. And we have a calendar going on. We also have a very big self-advocacy group that we run, and they help design our weekend programs and our after hour programs. Now with our employment and training services, we also have an Academy for Human Service Training. We have 2 of them, and that's actually a certified program where people can learn the basic skills needed to be in the human service field. They do 2 internships within that program, and they really get the opportunity to try out working with folks and seeing how they like it. And then we help them develop jobs afterwards. Within the Department of Developmental Services arena, we have our community and employment-based services. And these really, whoops, that's not the one I wanted, sorry, let me go back. The employment and community-based services really focus in on, let's see if it's gonna work this time, okay. So like this is a sample of one of our day program sites. We have an underwater room. We have a music room with murals. We have a lot of talented staff who put a lot of energy into making our places beautiful, helping our individuals connect to their creative side. We do have a macro enterprise called East Street Arts, where individuals who believe in the arts can come. They do silk screening, block printing. There's also the Artisans to Cane, where they learn the art of caning and repairing chairs, that they actually get paid for doing that. The East Street Arts program, when they do the silk screening and the, oh, I'm forgetting everything they do there. They do so much. The weaving, we have the looms and they do weaving as well. They get paid when their objects sell, because we also have a retail store there. Some people go there 5 days a week. Some only come 2 days a week. So we're highly individualized with what we do with the individuals. We really talk about what we have. Because you will have folks that have group supported employment, which is the GSE, where as a group, they go out and they work. They may go clean, we have in New Milford, they go clean some condo sites as a group. We also have individualized vocational programs, INVs, that are, it's an individualized day, but its focus is on vocational, where the individual being supported works one-on-one with their job coach and helps them assess, find jobs, and do that sort of work. With our transition program, we really encourage people to start planning early before graduation so that you're visiting, you're seeing the different options and programs that are out there, because there's so much available in the community too that you can pull it all together and do a very rich program. You also have the ability to self-direct your funds with DDS if that's something you choose to do, where you could hire your own staffing supports and that sort of thing. We do a whole host of job development, which I'm going to let Patrick talk about, because he is our job developer extraordinaire. You talk about a miracle worker, that's Patrick. He can find jobs for anyone, and he's very creative in how he does that. So I mean, so we, just so that families know, we do have like the community experience, and we do have group supported employment, and then we have the individual, as well as we do things with DEMAS and the DOORS BRS program. But Patrick will share all that with you.
So I've been, thank you, Lisa. Thanks, Pat, for having us here. I've been in Marrakech for like 27 years, doing vocational work. So I'm pretty embedded in like the New Haven vocational scene, but as well, we've been in Bridgeport and Waterbury, and we've been in Stamford, and we have different sites all over. Specifically right now, we do a lot of level up services, like through Ian Card and through BRS. So right now we're running job clubs and like interview practice in like Greenwich High School, Walcott High School, Shelton High School, Trumbull High School, and that's outside of New Haven. So right now we're doing a lot of work with high school kids and just getting them ready to really, for when they do leave high school. But and once they're part of the Level Up program, we can continue with them. Like Ian was saying about the work experience program. During the summer, we did a bunch of them in New Haven and Bridgeport area, where kids worked, I believe, like 80 hours, a bunch of them, spread out over like 2 months, about 15, 20 hours a week. And some of those work experiences led right to jobs. So a couple of them, they did it just for the experience, but they did such a good job that the employer hired them. Right. So ultimately, that's great. But even if not, they can put that on their resume, you know what I mean? So that's the Level Up services. We also do what's called Ticket to Work. Now, anybody on Social Security gets what's called the Ticket to Work. And that is ultimately individualized, and you can assign that to any provider that's in the Ticket to Work network. And then we would continue to work with you to get you a job, or once you get a job, we would follow you. And the goal is ultimately to get you off of benefits. So the Ticket to Work is to get you to basically get a career. So you start out maybe part-time, but then we would work with you if you need more training or whatever. And with the ultimate goal is to get you off of benefits, where you'd be self-sufficient. Right. That's called the Ticket to Work. And a lot of people have it and they don't even know they have it. So that would be something to look at. Like we also do for mental health services. We have a work services program where people can, you know, if you're not DDS, but you have like a mental illness, if your clinician refers you, we can provide services for that. We have a work learn program in Waterbury and New Haven, and that's for DCF participants between 16 and 21, I believe. And that's work learn, where you be part educational and part is like job readiness. And you would also get paid for those, for participating. So even when some of them might be on site, like volunteering or cleaning or food prep, but that would be paid employment prior to getting a job in the community. So that's called Work Learn, and we run that in Waterbury and New Haven, and there are openings right now. That's from 16 to 21 for youth.
And I have the Work Learn too.
What's that?
It's also, we really work hard to, I'm going to bring up the Work Learn just so you can see. We do have brochures on our website as well, if you wanted to print out the brochures.
Yes, I'm sending out all the brochures. I downloaded them.
Okay.
So I'll be sending them out to everybody on the follow-up.
And also like I've been doing it 27 years, and like we have employers calling us Honestly, in the last like month, I've had a machine shop call me. He had 2 openings. I had somebody who did like made sushi, and he called me. And then today I had a employer call me for 4 people, 4 part-time employees to help out with like almost like a food distribution thing. So jobs are tough, but people are hiring. So, you know, through the Level Up program, that's led to direct employment. And once again, we're established in the community. And you know, my contact information is on the chat, so you guys call me for advice or whatever, or some interest, and that'd be great. But Patrick from Marrakech.
Thank you, Patrick, and thank you, Lisa. That was wonderful.
Right.
I want to thank Patrick for mentioning the Ticket to Work.
Right.
That is a program that if you are receiving SSI or SSDI benefits, I think SSI, then, and you don't want to, and you want to try a job or do a work experience and you're worried about your benefits, you can get the Ticket to Work, which allows you to do that, try a job and protects your benefits for you.
Right. This tells you all about the program and eligibility here.
I'll be sending that out tomorrow too.
Okay. And I also just wanted to mention for families that are looking, maybe not necessarily for work, but looking for day services only, or maybe, because you can do a combination, you can do part group supported employment or individual IDA plus some day services options through the Department of Developmental Services. But one of the things that's key now that they're doing is that people still need to be evaluated by BRS before DDS is going to pay for day program supports. They want to make sure they're being evaluated to say, no, they're really not work ready, so that way they can get services through the Department of Developmental Services.
Right. We're going to talk about day services in another program I hope to do at the beginning, in the beginning of next year. It's hard to fit everything in at once.
Yeah.
And I'll resume. If we were doing this in a live forum where you guys all had your own tables, you could talk about whatever you wanted.
Right.
So
Well,
thank you very
so
much.
Pat.
I appreciate that. I don't see any questions in the chat. Anyone have their hand raised? I think we're okay. We're going to move on. And we have Kia Baird, who is with Project Search UCP, which is United Cerebral Palsy. And we would like to hear about that. Kia?
Okay. All right. So thank you, everyone. As she mentioned, I'm Kia Baird. I am the project search coordinator and the student transition manager for UCP of Eastern Connecticut. So we are located down at in the southeastern portion of the state, but we pretty much serve the whole eastern side of the state. But Project Search, which you've heard a little bit about already, is the program that I'm here to speak with you all about today. So as Mark mentioned, Project Search is an international program. It's been around for more than 20 years. It's just an amazing program that partners programs that work with folks with disabilities with businesses and enables the business to become a host site for their program. All right, so our Project Search is partnered with Mohegan Sun Casino and the Mohegan Tribe. Project Search is a 9-month internship program, comes out to about 10 months. So, and what it is it is 9 months of classroom and on-the-job training. So each intern that comes to our program goes through 3 different, what we call rotations. So they will, and I actually think I have a slide that shows the school. Yep, so they'll get to work in 3 different departments, and each of those internship rotations are 10 weeks. And as you can imagine, the casino is a huge hospitality business. So the different internship opportunities can range from housekeeping and environmental services, which is kind of cleaning and maintenance, those kind of things, all the way to human resources or hotel reservations. Really, I mean, Mohegan Sun has 2,000 different job titles. So you really can do anything, and you really could try out almost any department at the casino. In addition to um, the internship, the rotation, it also comes with a classroom portion. So that's how we kick off our day, with a classroom setting. So we are teaching all the life skills. We're teaching budgeting and resume writing and pretty much I call it adulting, right? Adulting 101. So where do I get services? Or I mean, we've gotten to the point where we've talked about like, oh, you think this person is cute. So what's the next step, right? What is appropriate for work? What is going to be appropriate and safe boundaries for relationships? So we really, really try to build a classroom portion that is just about everything that the folks that we're working with are going to need for independent living. So that's what we do in the morning, and then they head over to their internship. They break for lunch, they go back to work, and then they come back and we debrief at the end of the day. And then at the end of those 3 rotations, what we do is they are hooked up with a job developer that helps them find permanent placement. So as you can imagine, the casino is always hiring, right? So they can apply, interview, and be placed at the casino, but it's not mandatory, right? We use the casino as a place for learning. And folks can decide, oh, that was awesome, I never want to work there again. Or, oh, that was great, thank you for the experience, I would love to work here for the rest of my life, right? But they don't have to make that decision until after the internships have happened and they have a very individualized job search plan. Last year, we had some interns that lived maybe 30 minutes or 40 minutes away from the casino. So we knew that a job placement at the casino wasn't a great fit for them, right? Because part of that adulting is, how am I going to get to work every day, right? So we help place those interns in jobs that are closer to their home. So the placement portion of it, the job placement portion, is very individualized. So, and again, so Project Search, because it is tried and true, because it's this national and international program, it comes with very strong curriculum that we work on a daily basis. It also comes with a fidelity plan to make sure that all the project searches are really working in concert with each other. I've met with families who just are interested in Project Search and they happen to live closer to the Hartford area. And I was very excited and happy just to introduce them to Lindsay at MARC to talk about Project Search up in that area. So that's how kind of how beautifully the programs work and how similar they are, even though the sites are different, that I feel comfortable referring folks that aren't in our region to other project searches. So when you do see a project search, whether it's up in the Stanford area or it's in the Hartford area, or if it's down in southeastern Connecticut, that it's a great program, and that they're all structured very similarly. So they all have those 3 internships. They all have the classroom portion that is happening, and they all have that job placement piece at the end. Ours just happens to be in the hospitality industry. So if your young person is someone who is is very interested in working in a restaurant or a hotel, then the Mohegan Sun Project Search may be a good fit for them. It's just I can't say enough about it. It's a great program. Thankfully, because of the industry that we work on, we didn't really have to do much of a delay with COVID. So we are going full steam ahead. The casino has put amazing protocols in place to keep everyone safe. We have body scans every time we go in and out of a building, and we know our temperature at all times, and sanitize everything. So we are rolling, and it really is just a great program. It's a transition program, so it really is for folks that are 18 to 34. Just because so much of the curriculum is geared around that transitioning into adulthood. So if you have a young person that fits into that age criteria and is looking to do some internships before starting to their job search, Project Search would be a perfect fit for them. So also, in addition, I run a couple other programs, but I also run the student transition program. So if you have a young person that is still being supported by their school system, and maybe you are looking for a vocational program that is outside the school setting, then at our Quaker Hill location, we do have a student transition program. And that's Monday through Friday, 9 to 2. Project Search is around that same schedule as well. So it's 5 days a week, 8 to 2 actually. So it's a full day, but the interns say the days and the weeks fly by. So, and then UCP also offers individual day vocational programming for adults who are looking for job coaching or job development. So Project Search, any questions that you have about Project Search or about vocational services for transition age individuals down in the eastern part of the state, then please feel free to reach out to us, and we will help you find something that is a great fit.
Kia, did you find that you had a difficult time with the high schools, the transition from the high schools at that last year? We found at MARC that we got to a point, it was like they didn't want to give up that school funding. So we waited until they graduated, and we grabbed them at the 22, 21, 22 age, when they were accepted at DDS, and it seemed to make it a lot easier, and we had a lot more applications.
Well, I mean, that's why I'm here today, because absolutely, a lot of the schools do not, and I'm sure I'm not saying anything surprising to the parents. A lot of the schools don't want to lose that funding. They would love to really keep their kids in program, even if whether or not it's a good fit or not. So that's why I love to be able to talk to families, so that they know that there are options, right? Because we know that many of the schools have great transition programs in school. Right. But some of them just don't have programs that fit each child, right? So know your child, your student. So I think it's great for families to know that
I think families can be the ones that can push, the case managers or the social workers at the school to say, listen, I really want this for my child. And I think it's important that we educate the families, because the families are going to be the ones that are going to say, no, I really want my child in this program.
Exactly.
And it kind of forces them to work with the different agencies that provide Project Search.
Absolutely. I think that's what April and Pat do on a daily, right? Just empowering the families and letting them.
That's exactly one of the things that I talk to a lot of parents who are starting transition, in the middle of transition. And someone said to me the day before the child graduates should look the same as the day after, meaning don't get stuck with your school only offering transition within their own realm or contracting with someone so that when you do graduate, that job goes away. You want something like the programs you folks are talking about that are going to be sustainable, that are working you towards something. So when that next day comes and you're graduated, you already know where you're going to be, you already know what you're doing. And it does come down to the parents speaking up, and you got to do a little homework, I always tell parents, and find out what's out there. And you may have to bring that to your school system.
Right, I agree. We're going to talk a little bit about this, a little more about this after. I want to thank you very much, Kia, for your great presentation. That was wonderful. Does anyone have any specific questions for Kia? I think she already answered one. And
18,
project
yeah,
search.
sorry, 18 to 34. I had a slide for that, and then I started going through all the different.
It's okay. That's okay. So we have one more presentation. I want to make sure we get through that, and then we can ask all the questions we want, as long as they're willing to stick around. So we have Stephanie Foulkes from Vista Life Innovations, and I've worked with Stephanie a long time. She's been to a lot of my my other resource fairs.
Yeah,
So,
thanks, Pat.
Go ahead, Steph.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to do my best, Pat. This is like my bedtime. I've got a 1-year-old at home, so
Oh my goodness.
I'm going to stay focused. Let me just share my screen here.
You told me I would have had you go first.
I know, I should have. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, Vista Life Innovations, I'm the admissions manager here at Vista Life Innovations. We are a program located on the shoreline of Connecticut, in Westbrook in Madison, primarily. We serve folks who are 18 and older with a wide range of ability. Usually people typically check out our dormitory style environment. It's called the Discover program when they enter into our services. However, that doesn't have to be the pathway for people who are locally based. So I'm going to speak to both options in terms of employment at Vista. So folks in our residential transition program and the Discover program, they do get vocational training. In this program, it's holistic. So we are focusing on social skill development, life skill development, community involvement, and of course, vocational. So vocationally, our students in the dormitory program are starting off in something that we call training sites. And that's really where they're working on their soft work skills. A lot of people on this call have talked about that. So it's learning how to wake up on time, how to get dressed appropriately, how to ask the right questions at work. It's really the student's opportunity to learn and demonstrate that all the skills needed to be successful in competitively paid employment. So that's how we tackle vocational skills in the dormitory program. When someone has demonstrated the readiness for job development and for competitively paid employment, we will put them into an actual assessment in an area of interest where they can actually try out a job that they think that they're interested in. We're pretty methodical and individualized in our approach at Vista. For example, we have a lot of folks who come to us that say, oh, I want to work with animals. And then we set up an assessment and they try it out and they find out, oh, I don't want to do that at all. And so, we give them a chance to try different things out in different vocational paths so they can really develop a direction. And then when we find a good fit for the individual, we will actually develop and help them find an actual paid job. So we have job developers at Vista whose primary job is to go out and find possible places for employment, find openings. They support our students with interview skills and resume building, and really help them get that job. Once they've secured a job, then they can be paired up with a job coach and help them acclimate to a new employment site, help them learn the skills they need to do the job successfully. Then hopefully the job coach can fade away as the person becomes more comfortable. So for folks who are not in our dormitory program, there's a couple other avenues for employment development. We have employment services at Vista. So for folks who are local to our services, local meaning Westbrook, Madison, Clinton, Old Saybrook, kind of along that 95 corridor. Our service area is essentially Middletown, New Haven, and New London. That's kind of where we develop for employment. We do have one GSC site in Wallingford at Amazon. So we do make exceptions to that. But for employment services, folks who are local to us can come to us. We'll start with assessments to figure out where they're at and identify what their strengths and challenges are and where they need to start skill building. And then they can either go into internships or volunteer sites, or if they're ready for competitively paid employment, they will go into job development and work with our job developers and essentially go down that same path that our dorm students do and hopefully get competitively paid jobs. For folks who maybe aren't ready for competitively paid employment, we do have the day program that offers volunteer work sites to continue to do something to give back to the community or continue to work on their work skills until they're ready for employment. I'm happy to report that over 80% of our students and members who want a job have a job. And actually throughout COVID, I'm also happy to report that many of them, actually 84%, that number's gone up since I've made this presentation, 84% are back to work. So we're quite successful and really pleased that people are maintaining their employment throughout this difficult time. And at Vista, we also have something called Vista Ventures. So these folks here on the bottom corner, they're doing beach property care. So at Vista Ventures business, we basically contract with different community agencies and we hire our students and members to essentially work for Vista to fulfill those contracts. So these guys here they get hired every summer to clean up the beaches in the Westbrook Town Beach. Our largest contract is actually with the Yale hospital system, where we fulfill medical crash carts here on site in Madison. So the folks who, the nurses who take out all of the supplies of the medical crash carts, they send back those carts, we refill them. It's a very detailed oriented job, very fulfilling. It's a competitively paid job that they have to interview for. And then we ship those emergency crash carts back to the hospitals. And that is an attractive job for several folks because it's on site here, it's a quiet environment. And your boss is actually a Vista staff person. So it's, for some people, that's a perfect fit. I think the biggest takeaway for you folks tonight is that at Vista, we are very individualized in our approach. So it's really about the individual and what their interests are, what their strengths are. We have over 65 community partners. So our job developers work really hard to find places in the community that understand who we are and are willing to employ our folks. These community partners, over 65 places, have employed our people and are being successful. So the other pictures here, just to give you an example, we've got Sarah up here. She's at Big Y. She's been there several years at this point. These guys up here, I know Wayland Engineering was mentioned earlier. These guys are employed at Wayland Engineering, where they put together traffic lights that go on top of like police cars and fire engines. And then Amanda down here, we have a storefront in Madison and she works at our store. So lots of different options we have at Vista. And that's pretty much it for employment. Oops, I'm gonna try to back out of here. I apologize. Just stop the share. Does anybody have any questions for us?
Thank you, Stephanie. I have a
Well, it
question.
sounds like you have a great program.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we do.
It does. You do have a great program. I have a question for you and Marrakech Chapel Haven, and I'm not sure if some of the others offer these as well, because they're not necessarily residential sites, but some of you offer social programs like theater and dances and gaming, that kind of thing. Are those open to those that are not in your program in the community? Especially now that you might be doing some of it virtually, can other people join? And if they can you send me those links so I can send them out to people?
At Marrakech, you're certainly, anyone in the community is able to be involved. And we do a lot virtually. Like we have a Friday night dance night every Friday now that's done by Zoom. And this Friday is a big Halloween one. But we do have a calendar of events that we can send out. I can have our person send you that link so that you can share that with everyone.
That would be great. We're always looking, myself and Laverne Moore, who is in the South Central region, and April, who's on this call, but we're always looking for stuff for people to do socially. So anything that you guys have for any of your programs, we would love to send them out to people. So if you send me the links, we'll be happy to send them out to people, and everyone is always looking for something to do.
So Pat, we do a lot at MARC. We have a whole concert series in the month of July. And of course, we didn't have it this year because of the COVID, but we put on a concert series with great artists every Tuesday night for the month of July. This past Thursday night, we had a drive-in movie where everybody sat in their cars and we had movies outside, which was really a great event. We are so busy all summer long doing events, and anything that we feel that you guys would enjoy. Now that I have your email address, I will email you and let you know, and then that way you can send it out in a blast.
Yeah, I think I did send out the one about the movie, the drive-in movie thing. I think I sent that out. I saw it on Facebook.
We also work with a theater program here in Manchester, CAST. So that's another thing. We did Aladdin, and this year, what was the movie going to be this year? The Disney movie this year, Annie? I can't remember, but we ended up not being able to do it because of the COVID. So COVID's been a real problem. And we also do virtual services, which is a great add-on for our employment, because when we were out and everybody was shut down, our employment department was like so grateful to have that. So anybody that does do the virtuals, bravo to all of us, because we put that together quick and it really helped a lot of people.
Great. Thank you. And I know Chapel Haven, Danielle, you met, I know at Chapel Haven, because my son's there, is they are open to the community as well. So in the community, they can use the community-based services that Chapel Haven has, like recreation and social programs. Does anyone have any questions? We lost a couple of people. I don't know if they just got dropped off or if they had to do something else. But we had about 26 people during most of it, and I think we're down to about 22 beyond our presenters.
I was just going to add for us, we have an arts-based program called Create that's offered to the community at large. So that's the social opportunity that anybody can join. And it's a quarterly catalog that comes out, and it's singing, dancing, sculpting. It's all sorts of arts-based activities. And then we also have a musical production every year that people from the community can audition for.
Great. If you could send any links of that to me, Stephanie, I'll send it out.
Sure.
And I'm in the North Central region, but right now everything's going out virtually. And if you send it to me, I'll send it to the right region anyway. So that's how it'll work. So if there's any questions, if any of the families or individuals who are on have questions, we'd be happy to take them now. You can unmute yourself or you can raise your hand. If you go next to your name and participants, or go next to your name and the three little dots, it should say raise hand, I think. I can't see that because I'm the host, and if you do that, I will unmute you, or you can unmute yourself and just go ahead and ask. Any questions? Anything else through the chat? Oh, question for Ian. Ian, you still on?
I'm still here, yeah.
Thank you for hanging in there. Is Willimantic office staffed now? And I have not had success getting a response from the Manchester office. So
they should be staffed now. It has one counselor is in that office. Her name is Stephanie Hunt. Let me see if I can get you.
If you have her email, you can either send it to me and I can send it to the person who asked specifically. But yeah, if you ever have any issues getting through to someone, I had someone else earlier who was having trouble getting through to another, not BRS. It was a different department of something in Connecticut. they were having trouble getting through. I helped them find the next level up. And yes, thank you to all the presenters tonight. We look forward to seeing all the community activities, and it was great presentation, everybody. I really appreciate everyone coming in, especially the couple I got last minute. Thank you. And again, CTFSN is available for any information that you want us to help get out to the communities. We're happy to do that for you. We do it all the time. And we have fairly extensive email distribution lists in each of our regions, as well as a statewide one that we can get out any information, and our Facebook pages are for that as well. So
thank you so much, Pat, and April for sharing the things. It is, as we were mentioning, it's so important for us to get information to families.
Yes, and
case managers and stuff have heard from us a million times, but but we definitely want to be as connected as we can with families so we can answer questions.
I think that's one of the things that we do best is connect people, families with resources and vice versa.
And I think it's important for families to know that they have options. There are options, and those options are available while your loved ones are still in school. They start.
Right.
You're absolutely right, because that's one of the hardest things. If you're new to this as a parent, how do you find out that there's choice? Sometimes you're only given one choice.
Right.
Well, or told one choice.
We have a question, Dave.
My son just graduated high school at the end of 2020. Well, he finished the high school program, and he's in a transition program now. He's 19. I've heard some of the presenters talking about the schools wanting to hold on to the money or whatever. If we wanted to get him involved in another program, where does this money come from? He's not in, I guess he's I don't know. The way it was explained to me was that he gets school services up until he's 22, and then he's able to transition. So I'm kind of lost.
Does somebody want to answer?
Who wants to take that?
Well,
How old is your son? How old is your son?
19.
19.
19.
So I'm sorry, and maybe, and I'm probably one of the newer people, so someone can definitely fill in the blanks here. But to answer your question, the school should still fund him for a program, whether it's a program that is run by the school or an outside program. It's the same money. Okay. So like students that are in my Project Search program, we are sending the bill every month to their school.
Correct.
But I will say to you though, as you can imagine, it's not like, hey, I think I want to have my student go here, and they're gonna say, yeah, sure, no problem, right? They're gonna want to know, well, why is this program different from what we can offer? Tell me what it is that you see in your son that makes you think that he would benefit from going to this outside program, right? And usually what it is the ability to do something on site with a business, like a real business based experience, right? And then one of the major things that we're beefing up this year is really helping our interns through the application process and the eligibility processes for all of the things that they will need even after they graduate from Project Search, right? So Project Search is really only 1 year, right? But we want to make sure that when somebody leaves Project Search, they have a job, they're signed up for SSDI, they have their SNAP benefits in line, if they're going to transition to DDS, we want to help them with all of those things, because because we want to be a full transition program, right? So it's not just employment, but also all the other things. And those are some of the things, some of the areas that schools may not have the expertise in, depending on how big their transition program is. So, but that was a long answer to your question. It is the same money. So it's the same money that they would spend if your student was still in the schoolhouse, as they say in the South, or if they go to a program that is outside of them.
And I think a very important point with this, as far as the transition services offered by the high school versus a transition service like Project Search or one of the agencies that provide long-term supports, is that we will start working with your son as a student, but once he's in our program, is long-term supports, whether it's through DDS or DOORS, the supports will continue. If it's through DDS, it's ongoing support. So once they complete the internship program, they get placed in the community competitive employment, and they're still continue to support, obtain that support from this provider on site while they're working. Whereas the school, once they age out, it's called age out, their services end. Now you have to go find a provider that's going to start working with your child. So I think the sooner we start identifying, job skills, like Ia said, the weakness, the strengths, and we start placing your son in scenarios where we build on those skills, it's ongoing supports from there. So I feel that the sooner you get connected, the better it will be.
Yeah, and once they're independently employed, it's important because we can still provide 2, 3, or up to 5 hours a week, helping them in that job. That's very important. But I do want to say there are a lot of really good transition programs through the schools.
In the schools, yes.
There are. I know that, Manchester High School has a great transition program. There's one in Ellington that we visited. There are a lot of really good transitional services. But I do think that last year of school is a good time to start, or the year before it's their last year, like the year prior to their graduating, is a good time to start looking, because that last year really helps them build those relationships with a new provider.
Okay.
Well, and
he's
sometimes
already past that, so.
Well, sometimes it depends on also whether or not you do have a funding source like DDS. So if your child is not qualified for DDS services because they need lower supports, then they may not get those services. The services they would get might come from BRS, which might not be quite as extensive as you might get from Project Search. They're great services. My son did both BRS, Level Up, and he had a great transition program here in Glastonbury. My son left Glastonbury with a paying job. He left his transition program with a paying job. So he was thrilled. I was thrilled. He did end up deciding to go to Chapel Haven because he wanted to learn more about living on his own. So he's there as a resident. And that had as much to do with, he also wanted some more experiences. Some schools school programs do have some limitations, so you need to discuss those. It is an IEP, so it's an individual program. It shouldn't be, your child should not be buttonholed into an existing program. So that's something that's important to talk to them about. If your child is capable of moving faster than their normal program, that your child should be moving along faster. I'll say that's one thing I did push. I've got one of the teachers on here from my son's program. But I did push them a little bit to push my son a little faster than they normally do, because he was capable of doing that. And as it turned out, it was a great thing to do, because as I said, he left with a paying job at Chili's. And so you really have to work as much as you did in school when they were in school on their IEP. You have to continue to do that and customize the program as much as possible. And if the school is not capable of providing what your child needs, you look at outside programs and you ask for an outside program. Project searches are great. MARCs or some of the ARCs, they're all over the place. We have MARC on here today, but we have, there's other ARCs that offer programs. And there's programs like Marrakech, which sounds great. So it's really a matter of working on customizing it. And at CTFSN, we're happy to talk to you about it. People at CPAC are happy to talk to you about it. People at BRS are probably happy to talk to you about it. So wherever you need help, we can try and get you that assistance.
Well, thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
And Paula, you do have a great program.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to leave you out. I know I said Manchester, but we really like Glastonbury too. We've had very good relationship with you in the years.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll say Glastonbury has expanded their program, and I think they've done a great job expanding their program. I like to take credit for having some of that, for doing some of that, but
well, you sound like a really good advocate for your son and for families. So, you know, I applaud you for that, Pat.
Yeah, my son graduated a few years ago, but he loved it there. He had a great time in that program. And one of the reasons, although I looked at some other programs, I looked at Project Search for him, I never wanted to transfer him out of that program because he loved it there. He had friends there, and he was doing a good job, and they were doing a good job customizing it to him, I believe. So.
And you know, this is why Project Search is sometimes it's really good for people after they're out of the high school.
Right.
And there's still room for them to grow at that point. And whatever skills they learned in the transition program, they just bring to Project Search. So it's not always about getting them that young last year of high school, you know, the 21 age. 22 is fine. We take people in Project Search between the ages of 19 and into their 30s. So, you know, don't limit yourself, because I really feel like there are great transitional programs, and you can move on even after they're out of their programs, their school programs.
I think one of the best takeaways from this and doing this on Zoom is, first of all, we can have people from all over the state, because I'm in southeastern Connecticut, and Laverne, you're down in the southwest, I think. And there's programs all over that are fabulous, and school programs can be great too. But the thing is, as a parent, you don't always know they're out there, and you don't know the options. So if, as a parent on here today, if I was looking for a transition program, I now have every one of you that came on as a professional to contact. Maybe your program isn't exactly right, but I certainly learned about programs that I didn't even know were there. And, you know, I do a shout out to Southeastern Connecticut because that's where I'm from, but that's what the network does best, is bring parents together with resources.
And I think that the providers on this forum have one thing in common, and it is to successfully place your loved one. I mean, it's all about getting them, reaching their potential and getting them to get competitive employment in the community.
And as Pat
you're north, south, east, or west.
One size doesn't fit all. That's why it's
right. That's right.
So I want to thank you all. Any more questions? I haven't seen any other pop up.
Yeah, Pat, I just wanted to mention, do you want me to send you all the information I have on FAVAR? You know,
I've talked to FAVAR and I invited them. They didn't get back to me.
Because they have projects over at UConn too, and I have all that information if you want to share that, you know?
Yeah, send it to me. I'll send it out as part of the follow-up. I'm perfectly willing to send out. I had a couple of programs that couldn't speak tonight, but they sent me their information. They just didn't have someone available tonight. So they sent me information, so I'm going to include that. Anything you have.
Project Search Farmington, sorry, is, I mean, just exactly, it's structured exactly the same way that Annie talked about. And there's ours, and it's just at UConn, and theirs is wildly successful. I mean, theirs is really also really great. I think theirs was the first in Connecticut, so so they have the experience.
We provide all the transportation too. We pick up people everywhere, so It's an awesome, awesome program to check into. I could send that, you know.
Yes, please send it.
Yeah, we do transportation too. Probably most of us do.
Oh.
We even would do the transportation for Ian's folks too.
That's always, sometimes that's the big hitch, was transportation. That was my son's big hitch. He doesn't get DDS services. So trying to find a job where he didn't need to be driven there every day by me was kind of the hope, and which he did end up having. It was great.
Yep.
So, okay. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to stop recording now, if that's okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. It was nice to meet
Thank you
you
for
all.
hosting and running it.
Thank you, guys. Nice meeting you all. Stay safe.
Yes, you too.
Thank you.